Good morning. I am Guruswamy K, Head of the Department of Physics, IDSC Government College, Chikmagalur. Now I am going to deliver a lecture in this video connected with X radiation. This is the second lecture, and this chapter belongs to the program 3rd BSc Physics, 6th semester, paper 7 belongs to Kuvempu University. The title of the paper is Solid State Physics and Electronics. Now I am going to cover the topics like types of X-rays based on their energy or penetrating power, and X-ray types based on origin, X-ray spectra, and origin of continuous or brimstone X radiations, origin of characteristic X radiation. These topics should be covered in this session. Recap of previous session. In the previous session, in the first session, I discussed about discovery of X radiations, properties of X radiations, and production of X-rays by Coolidge tube experiment. These topics were discussed in the previous discussion. Now we shall move on to the next concepts like we should learn about the objectives like types of X-rays based on their energy or penetrating power, the classification of X-rays based on their energy, and X-ray types based on origin to the X-ray spectra, nature of the spectrum. We are going to classify the X-rays, and origin of continuous or brimstone X-rays, the origin of characteristics X-rays. These are the topics should cover in this session. Types of X-rays based on their energy or penetrating power. Here we are going to classify the X radiations into two types based on their energy. Based on the energy basis, we shall classify the X radiations into two types. One is hard X-rays, other one is soft X-rays. Hard X-rays in the sense those X radiations have very high energy, and that energy is ranges from about 5 to 10 kilo electron volt. Those high energetic X radiations are called as hard X radiations. Another classification is soft X-rays. Soft in the sense less energy X radiations. The energy X-rays with lower energy or longer wavelength are called as soft X radiations. Here we found that hard X-rays are widely used in image technique, that is used to image the inside of visually opaque objects like in medical radiography, determining crystal structures by X-ray crystallography. It is XRD technique and X-ray photography technique. We are going to use hard X radiations or high energy radiations of right energy or optimum energy. Soft X-rays. Soft X-rays are easily absorbed in air. They are less energetic or high wavelength X radiation. Thereby, they are strongly absorbed by the air media. The attenuation length of 600 electron volt X radiations in water is less than 1 micron. 1 micron means 10 to the power of minus 6 meter. Just imagine 1 by 1000th of a millimeter. Within that distance of a water media, 600 electron volt energy X radiations will be completely absorbed. Thereby these soft X radiations are very low energy X radiations. Based on the energy or penetrating power, if we consider the penetrating power, if the energy is high, obviously high penetrating power is there. Thereby hard X-rays penetrate deeper into the media or material, whereas the soft X-rays penetrating power is very less. They cannot penetrate deeper into the crystals or certain materials or a media. It's about the classification, first type of classification based on energy and penetrating power. The next type of classification based on the X-ray origin or production. We are going to classify the X-ray into two types. One is continuous X-rays and one is characteristic X-rays. Here continuous X-rays are also called as brimstone X-rays. Now we are going to discuss the production of this continuous X-rays or X-ray spectra, and one more is characteristic X-rays. Okay. Here if you see this figure 3, there we found that these two types of X-radiations are mentioned here. Here this is what a continuous X-ray spectra. In this continuous X-ray spectra, I think, but it found all possible wavelengths, all possible. If you plot intensity of X radiation in y-axis and wavelength along x-axis, the nature of plot obtained is what we call X-ray spectrum. For each X-ray line or a curve, there is a lambda minimum. Below that lambda minimum, there is no X-ray emission. Above that lambda minimum, there is a X-ray emission. They found that for a particular potential difference applied between the anode and cathode, in the case of X-ray tube, we found that all possible wavelengths are emitted. The continuous wavelength region can found here. But if we observe this, the highest intensity curve, here we found that on this smooth curve, there is a spike or hump is there. This spike or hump produced in the continuous X-rays is due to the characteristic X-ray emission. The characteristic X-ray emission. Okay, this is what the characteristic X-rays. Okay, rest of this continuous X-ray spectra or Bremsstrahlung X-ray spectra. Origin of continuous or Bremsstrahlung X-rays. These X-rays are produced by the acceleration or disacceleration of a fast-moving electrons when deflected by strong electromagnetic fields of IZ target nuclei. IZ target nuclei. Once these high kinetic energy electrons are projected on the this one IZ elements like tungsten or molybdenum, etc., these high kinetic energy electrons may penetrate deeper and falls in the electric field of the nuclei, atomic nuclei of a target, and there we found that the interaction of these high kinetic electrons with that electric field of the nuclei, there will be a production of the new type of radiation, and those radiations are what we call X radiations, and those radiations have continuous wavelengths or possible wavelengths. Again, here the wavelength of that continuous X radiation produced depends upon the penetrating depth or penetrating power of the incident electrons, high kinetic energy electrons. Next, the Bremsstrahlung process is one of possible interactions of light charged particles with matter as shown in this figure. This is the Bremsstrahlung process. Only 1% of the incident electrons, high kinetic electrons, are utilized to produce these Bremsstrahlung X radiations. Rest of that usually converted into heat. Next, fast moving high energy electrons when pass through electric field of a nucleus inside the target, it is either accelerated or decelerated. That depends upon whether acceleration or deceleration is produced, depends upon the direction of motion of these electrons with respect to the electric field of the atomic nuclei. If the direction of motion of the electron and the electric field of the atomic nuclei are both are in the same direction, then acceleration is produced. Or if they are opposite to each other, then disacceleration is produced. Due to which, whether acceleration or disacceleration is produced, okay, due to which the electron loses its kinetic energy continuously by converting kinetic energy into electromagnetic radiation called as X radiations. As a result, a single or multiple X-ray photons are generated. As a result, a single or multiple X-ray photons are generated, and these X-rays lead to a continuous spectrum. Nothing but these X-rays have all possible wavelengths or energies. Thereby, we are going to get a continuous curve while plotting a graph of the intensity of X-ray produced versus wavelength. The intensity of the X-rays increases linearly with increasing wavelength from a minimum and also with the accelerating voltage on the X-ray tube. The intensity of X-rays increases linearly with the increasing wavelength from a minimum and also with the accelerating voltage on the X-ray tube. For every accelerating potential, there is a lambda minimum, and above which we found that there is a continuous wavelength X radiations were produced with different intensity and wavelength. Next, material of the metal target in the tube has no effect on the spectrum of this continuous radiation. The nature of the target material used, okay, does not affect the nature of the spectrum. The nature of the spectrum depends upon the amount of potential difference applied between the cathode and anode. With an increasing accelerating voltage, cutoff wavelength of the continuous spectra shift towards the shorter wavelength side. With increasing accelerating voltage, that is the voltage applied between the cathode and anode, cutoff wavelength of the continuous spectrum, that is lambda minimum of the continuous spectrum, shift towards the short wavelength range. The voltage decrease, then that shift towards the longer wavelength side. Okay. Next, inverse photoelectric effect under Dom-Hunt empirical law. This production of continuous X-rays looks like an opposite process of photoelectric effect. Then what is meant by photoelectric effect? By using a right frequency photons, light photons, we are going to produce electrons on the metal target. When we focus these light photons on a photosensitive metallic targets, cathode, then we found that these photons interact with the bound electrons of the metal and thereby energy sharing takes place. Those bound electrons absorb part of the energy of the incident photon, thereby they overcome the binding energy of the atom and comes out of the metal target or a photosensitive cathode as photoelectrons or free electrons. This process, the production of X-rays, is the inverse process of photoelectric effect. Nothing but here, instead of using light photon, here we are going to use electrons to eject the photons. There, by using light photons, we are ejecting electrons from the metal target. But here, by using high kinetic energy electrons, we are going to eject photons, light photons. Thereby, this X-ray production, continuous X-ray production, is inverse photoelectric effect. Next, conservation of energy requires that the kinetic energy of the electron must be equal to the maximum photon energy. Conservation of energy requires that the kinetic energy of the electron must be equal to the maximum photon energy, where work function of the electron is neglected. Okay, if the kinetic energy, if it is highest, then work function of the metal is neglected because it is very small compared to energy of the electrons used. So, this yields the Dom-Hunt's limit for X-ray rays of shortest wavelength or highest energy emitted. It says that, Dom-Hunt law says that the photon wavelength depends only on accelerating potential of electrons and is same for all targets. It says that photon wavelength depends only on the accelerating potential of electrons and is same for all targets. Thereby, if nu maxima is the maximum frequency of the X-ray that may be produced, then HU maximum is equal to EV. That is according to Planck's quantum theory of radiation. SU maximum is equal to EV, or SC by lambda minimum is equal to EV, or lambda minimum is equal to SC by EV, where C is the velocity of light and H is the Planck's constant. Next, origin of characteristics X radiations. And it is a two-stage process. The first stage, we are going to produce ionization with the help of high kinetic energy electrons, and it is followed by relaxation. Nothing but once these ionized electrons settle in the higher orbitals, okay, they come back to the lower orbitals. During that process, they lose their energy in the form of the X radiations, and those radiations are what we call characteristics X radiation. Here, the characteristic wavelength or frequency of the radiation emitted depends upon the level, electronic energy level through which these transitions should occur. Now we are going to discuss in brief. Firstly, if the incident electron has enough energy or kinetic energy or frequency, it can knock out an orbital electron out of the inner electron shell of a metal atom. This process leaves a vacancy in that particular electronic energy level or orbit. Hence, the atom is ionized and become unstable. Once the atom becomes unstable, it tries to get stability. Thereby, we observe that, secondly, the atom regains stability when an electron from an outer shell fills the inner shell vacancy and an X-ray photon is emitted. During this process, while filling the vacancy in the lower energy orbits or lower electronic energy levels by the electrons in higher energy levels, okay, during this transition, whatever the energy difference is there, okay, that energy difference usually appeared as characteristic X radiations. Hence, the outer electrons of the atom cascade down to fill the lower atomic levels. Cascade down means falls down to fill the lower atomic levels, and one or more characteristic X-rays are usually emitted. Here, the number of X-ray photons emitted depends upon how many electrons will take transition from higher energy level, all higher energy levels, to a particular lower energy level or lower electronic orbit. That will decide the number of characteristic X-ray photons emitted from the atom. As a result, sharp intensity peaks appear in the spectrum at wavelengths that are characteristic of the material from which the anode target is made. Nothing but here on the continuous spectra, we are going to observe a sharp intensity peaks or humps or spikes, okay, at a particular wavelength region that depends upon the transition of the high energy electronic levels to a particular electronic level or energy level, and that decide the characteristic X-ray emitted. The frequencies of the characteristic X-rays can be predicted from the Bohr model. From the Bohr model, we are going to calculate the frequencies or wavelength of the X radiations emitted. Later, I am going to use that formula. The energy of the emitted X-ray is equal to the difference between ionization energies of the electrons involved in the transition. Once again, I am going to repeat this point. The energy of the emitted X-ray photon is equal to the difference between the ionization energies of the electrons involved in the transition. Nomenclature of characteristic X radiations. The naming of these characteristic X radiations from different orbits or shells. The most commonly used naming convention for characteristic X-ray lines is the Sabin notation. Sabin notation. The first component of the name is the element involved in the X-ray production, target element, that is silicon, W or copper, etc. The second component is the electron shell that was ionized to produce the X-ray. Which shell, whether it is K shell or L shell or M shell, etc. That will decide the nature of the characteristic X-ray emitted or frequency or wavelength of the characteristic X-ray emitted. The third component reflects the relative intensity of the line within each shell. In a particular shell, the relative intensity, okay, is used to naming the characteristic X radiation. That is, alpha is the most intense line. It is followed by beta and gamma, etc. In addition to a minimum wavelength or blocking wavelength. The lines within each shell make up a family or series of lines for that shell. Example, the K family comprises the K alpha and K beta X-ray line. Similarly, L family will comprise as L alpha, L beta, etc. This table will give some wavelengths of the characteristic X-ray photons emitted. Now we are going to observe one by one. Here the first column, it gives X-ray line, the name of the X-ray line, target metal used, shell in which vacancy created, and shell from which electron jumps to fill vacancy, energy of the photon emitted, wavelength lambda of photon emitted. Okay, finally, we are going to use that formula to calculate the wavelength. Here, first one, if you observe copper K alpha line, if you use copper as a target material, then if the transition takes place from L to K shell, then the energy of the emitted X-ray photon should be is equal to the energy difference between the L shell electron to K shell electron in the copper, that is E is equal to EL minus EK. Then by using the Planck's relation, we are going to calculate the wavelength as lambda is equal to SC by E. Thereby lambda is equal to SC by here E nothing but EL minus EK. Like that we are going to calculate or measure the wavelength of a particular characteristic X radiation, that is Ka for K alpha. Similarly, Ka for K beta, Ka for K gamma, and Ka for L alpha, Ka for L beta lines, okay, are named based on this one, the electrons transition from a particular shell to the lower shell or lower orbit. Okay, like this we are going to naming the characteristics X radiations emitted